Hi, I'm Neil Snyder, and this is a Snyder Talk video commentary. I want to take just a few minutes to talk with you about the correct pronunciation of the name Yahweh. In the mid-2nd century BC, the rabbis forbade the use of the name Yahweh. I won't go into detail explaining why to you tonight, but I'll simply tell you this. I deal with it in the book, His Name is Yahweh. You can download it for free at hisnameisyahweh.org. If you haven't read the book, I urge you to do it. In Israel today, the prime minister's name is, in the United States, we would say Benjamin Netanyahu. But if you're in Israel, that name is not Benjamin Netanyahu, it's Benjamin Netanyahu. But if you're talking to Israelis in casual conversation about their prime minister, they refer to him as Benjamin Netanyahu. The prophet Elijah. In Israel, his name is not Elijah. In Hebrew, it's Eliyahu. But if you're talking to Israelis in Israel in casual conversation about the prophet Elijah, they refer to him as Eliyahu. Same is true with Jeremiah, for example. In Hebrew, it's Yirmiyahu. But if you're talking with Israelis who speak Hebrew as their first language, they'll refer to him as Yirmiyahu in casual conversation. Now, probably a better pronunciation of the name of God is Yahweh, because there is that accentuated sound in the middle that most of us are not familiar with. We don't have that sound in English. We don't use that sound. So when I refer to Yahweh in the United States, I refer to him as Yahweh. If I'm in Israel, I'll probably say Yahweh, depending on who I'm talking to, but it's quite likely if I'm talking with religious Jews in Israel about the name Yahweh, I'll say Yahweh, because they're familiar with that name. Oh, they're also familiar with Yahweh. But the correct pronunciation, the one that they're most familiar with, is Yahweh. In fact, it's funny because if you're in Israel today and you're talking with Arabs, they know the name, and they're not shy about saying it. And they say Yahweh, which, like I said, is the correct pronunciation. Now, why am I telling you all this? It's because, first of all, there's a lot of controversy in the Christian community today about the name itself. What's the correct pronunciation is not an issue for a lot of Christians because they've never heard a preacher say the name from the pulpit. The fact that God even has a name is a surprise to most Christians. They've been brought up to believe that his name is either God or Lord. Well, you know his name isn't God and his name isn't Lord. Those are titles, not names. So inside the Christian church, there's this controversy about there even being a name for God. But once you reach the point where you know that there is a name for God and try to understand what it is, then you find out there's controversy about the correct pronunciation. Well, I'm not a linguist, and I'm not going to sit here and go into a lengthy and boring discussion about the linguistics of the name Yahweh. I will simply tell you this. There's controversy among people today who understand that God actually has a name. And the correct pronunciation is something that will generate a lot of debate. There's a group, for example, that refers to him as Yahuwah. Now, they have an argument for that is worth listening to. I don't believe that is correct. I don't believe the correct pronunciation of his name is Yahuwah. I believe it's Yahweh. And as I said, I say Yahweh in the United States. Still, you need to be aware that this controversy exists. These things we know for a fact, though, regardless of the correct pronunciation. His name isn't God, and his name is not Lord. Those are titles, not names. We also know this. Joel told us in chapter 2 that everyone who calls on the name of Yahweh will be saved. Peter told us in Acts chapter 2 that everyone who calls on the name of Yahweh will be saved. Paul told us in Romans chapter 10 that everyone who calls on the name of Yahweh will be saved. Peter went even further than that in Acts chapter 4. He said, "There's no other name under heaven that has been given among men by which we must be saved." Obviously, this name is important. About the correct pronunciation, I believe that Yahweh is correct. I say Yahweh in the United States. I'm not really worried about this, the correct pronunciation. I think I've got it right. I'm pretty sure I've got it right. I'm not worried about it, though, because I know that the day will come when Yahweh himself is going to tell us. Now, how do I know this? Because in Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 21, he says, "This time I will make them know my power and my might, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh." He's going to tell us his name. And until that day comes, you can rest assured of this. God has a name, and it's not God or Lord. I think it's Yahweh. Some people believe it's Yahuwah. I don't believe that's correct, but you need to be aware of that. I hope this helps you. Whether it does or not, only you can be the judge of that. But at any rate, I thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again.